Okay, I've just gone into the normal part of Insight, which is Run Insight. Okay, not the bootstrapping section. What we're going to do is pull up two comparative box and whisker plots. Okay, input the data. Just look at the where I'm going, students, maths, year 13 stats, and Insight datasets, and then in bootstrapping, when I say so, you're going to open up it's changed around. I was going to do 10A. Oh no, there it is, 10A. Maths 3, 10A, the top one. I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do money owing. Okay, so I'm going to do money owing as a model answer. You're going to do 10A is actually the sports science data, and you're going to do a comparative dot plot there. Box and whisker and dot plot. Okay, I can open up now. Okay, once you get your data up, the first thing you want to do is go view variables. Now, you'll note that my one has considerably less variables than your data set. You're going to have to play around with yours until you find an appropriate continuous piece of data with two categories to compare. But this particular one, if I drop the continuous variable into variable 1, you should get a dot plot and a box and whisker plot. Okay, by the categorical variable needs to go under variable 2. Let me do that again. So you need to drop the continuous variable, in other words, the variable with all the digits that's been measured, under variable 1. Okay, that will give you a box and whisker plot and a dot plot, and the categorical piece of data, in this case it's Auckland and Wellington, under variable 2. Now we have comparative box and whisker plots to compare. So that we actually need to drop onto a Word document. Okay, so open up a new Word document, and this is one of the graphs that you will need for your internal, the comparative dot plot and box and whisker. Snipping tool, and take all the data, all the graphs. Word document, Control V. Before you close out of here, you also need the summary stats. So click Get Summary. Snipping tool, and make sure you're on the right page. We need to snip those summary stats. Where's my snipping tool? New. Grab those. Actually, notice I haven't made my screen quite big enough. You can do that a bit better than me. Control V, and you've got your summary stats. Okay, from here, you now need to go into, and there's a shortcut way of doing this.
Couldn't you just go get inputs?
Yeah, but it won't give us it won't do the bootstrapping thing.
What says bootstrap? Yeah.
Advanced visual inference tools, and change it to bootstrapping. Okay, and unfortunately you have to input the data or import the data again. It's a bit frustrating. Okay, and you're familiar with this page, however, you're not familiar, or you might not necessarily be familiar with this double graph thing that's going to come up. Variable 1 is money owing, and variable 2 this time is the category. Okay, you haven't seen this before, unless you looked at the weight of males and females and compared that. So this is split the data into two categories, still a dot plot. Okay, now you're ready to go to analyze, and at this stage I don't mind if you analyze the mean or the median, either is fine. And if I just do this record choices 20 times, if you keep an eye on that red arrow that's moving in the middle, okay, each time that red arrow moves, it is a new difference between the means. Okay, think about the bootstrapping process. What's happening, it's randomly sampling, and the red arrow shows a new difference between the means, and this time instead of just looking at a new mean or a new median, we're actually looking at the difference between two means or two medians. If I come down here and click 20, we're now going to record the difference, or that red arrow length if you like. Notice the scale on the bottom has a 0 in it, because you can picture if you took the mean of Auckland incomes and subtract the mean of Wellington incomes, roughly the answer should be 0. If it were 0, we could say there was no difference between Auckland, average Auckland incomes and average Wellington incomes. However, if you consider this distribution down here, you'll note that we haven't got any zeros. In fact, they're all positive. So we're building a case to say that Wellington incomes, on average, are larger than Auckland incomes. Okay, look at the initial sample. Wellington mean, or the mean income in Wellington, much larger than, well, $70,000 on average, larger than Auckland. Okay, and we're building a case down here, and when we do it 1,000 times, one below 0. But for the majority of the time, or in other words, it's a fairly safe bet that the Auckland average income, average annual salary, is larger than an average Auckland salary. If you click show CI, okay, it'll put the mean down from your original sample and it will give you a confidence interval. The numbers of the confidence interval are really don't matter a whole lot, but what does matter is whether they straddle 0 or whether they don't straddle 0. So in this case, the confidence interval doesn't straddle 0, and it's a fairly safe bet that the average income in Wellington is higher than the average income in Auckland.